The cold morning mist hung low over the French coastline as German defenders peered through their binoculars, convinced they knew every possible approach the Allies could take. They had studied maps, reinforced bunkers, and laid countless obstacles on the beaches, confident their defensive wall was unbreakable. Yet, behind the horizon, the Americans were preparing to unleash something the Germans had not expected. Rolling forward were strange, ungainly vehicles that looked like trucks but had hulls shaped to float. To the untrained eye, they appeared clumsy, but these machines, the amphibious DUKWs, were about to change the rhythm of battle. 2. When the Americans first introduced the DUKW, even some of their own soldiers doubted its worth. It was half truck, half boat, designed to carry troops, ammunition, and supplies from ship to shore without the need for docks. The Germans, however, had no clue such vehicles even existed. As dawn broke, German gunners were ready for landing crafts, for infantry waiting ashore, for tanks that needed firm ground. But what they saw shocked them: vehicles driving directly out of the waves, rolling onto the beaches without pause. Confusion spread quickly across the German lines. 3. Machine gun nests opened fire, shells burst, and chaos echoed across the sand. Yet the DUKWs kept coming, bobbing on the waves and grinding forward onto the shore. Their 6 wheels dug into the wet ground, pushing through surf and mud alike. Each carried vital cargo: ammunition crates, artillery shells, radios, even medical supplies. For German defenders, this unexpected wave of floating trucks broke the rhythm of their defensive fire. They had calculated time gaps between landings, expecting pauses as boats withdrew, but now supplies and reinforcements poured in continuously. 4. Soldiers leapt from the DUKWs as soon as they grounded, turning the strange machines into lifelines on the battlefield. American engineers quickly established makeshift supply dumps, while gunners hauled artillery shells straight into newly positioned howitzers. German officers barked orders, unsure whether to target the men, the vehicles, or the endless waves still arriving offshore. Each time they destroyed one, another seemed to glide over the water behind it. Their intelligence had not warned them about this innovation, and it was this gap in knowledge that began cracking their confidence. 5. By midday, the coastline resembled a chaotic theater. The Germans, trained to anticipate waves of infantry, were unnerved by the steady stream of amphibious trucks reinforcing the American foothold. Snipers tried to disable drivers, artillery tried to sink them, but the DUKW's simple design made them surprisingly resilient. Some burned, yes, but many more survived, delivering cargo that turned the tide. The Americans no longer feared running dry of ammunition or waiting hours for supplies to be ferried ashore. Instead, they fought with fresh energy, knowing their floating trucks carried everything they needed. 6. Stories spread quickly among the German defenders. Rumors claimed the Americans had invented entire fleets of secret amphibious armor. Others whispered of factories across the ocean producing endless machines. Fear amplified every splash in the water, every silhouette on the horizon. The DUKW was no superweapon, but in psychological terms, it became one. The Germans, unprepared for its versatility, struggled to adapt. Their rigid defensive plans, based on predictable assaults, collapsed under the weight of constant surprise. What they had dismissed as a simple landing had turned into a flowing river of men and supplies. 7. The DUKWs not only supplied ammunition but also carried wounded soldiers back to offshore hospitals, saving countless lives. They ferried artillery across rivers inland, extended bridges of mobility where Germans expected bottlenecks. Every time defenders thought they had secured a choke point, another DUKW appeared, bypassing obstacles and delivering reinforcements. German reports began noting frustration, shock, and even disbelief. "Trucks that swim" became a bitter phrase muttered by soldiers who once trusted their bunkers and machine guns to hold the line. They realized their enemy's ingenuity was rewriting the rules of invasion. 8. As the days passed, it became clear that the unexpected presence of DUKWs had altered the balance. American troops gained momentum faster, supply chains stretched farther, and morale surged higher than predicted. For the Germans, the sense of invulnerability that had surrounded their coastal defenses evaporated. The Atlantic Wall was not broken only by brute force, but also by creativity and surprise. The DUKW, ungainly yet relentless, symbolized that innovation. German defenders had never known about it, and by the time they learned, it was too late. The tide of war had already turned against them.